Hello. Can you hear me? Should be able to. I never changed the settings. Oh, I can move. That's what's taking up the space on the back of the desk. Now where am I going to put that now? Let me know if you can hear me okay, and we'll get started. Hi Pam, hi Susan. We've got a bit of a delay between what I can see and what you can see, so I'm just waiting for chat to catch up before we start. There's no point starting if I've got no sound, so somebody let me know you can hear me. Oh, the lag is ridiculous. Hi Pelican, you can hear me. Great. Thank you. Okie dokie. Hey Bug. You can hear me. You can see me. You can... Just woke up. Did you miss anything? No. Literally just switched on the camera. Was just confirming that everybody could hear me. So, I'm going to get started straight away today. I don't have any announcements or anything. Don't care. As you can see, I've made a headway with my Crazy Quilt. I've done it's about 1.5 feet that way by about... No, actually, it's about 1.5 feet that... It's about 1.5 feet round at the moment, and I just started in the middle and I'm working round. I did start doing the square, which you can still see here, but I'm going to fix that. The square was driving me insane because I was going to have to match up all the squares. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm cutting out the squares. Each paper, if you're not sure what I mean, watch last week's video because I showed you what I was doing. So I took each piece of paper and I'm just cutting it up into bits. Larger bits, smaller bits. These are all the smaller bits from this piece. And covering that whole piece of paper with one bit of fabric. Because I got loads and loads of 12-inch squares of fabric. So, yeah, I'm just doing it randomly. So all I do from here, literally just go, okay, there's a space. What can I squeeze into that space? Does that fit that angle? Look at that. That fits that angle perfectly. That can go in there. And then I sew it in. And I'm just going around the outside doing that. Because I don't care. I don't need it to be any specific pattern or anything like that. That's the point of a Crazy Quilt. So, I've decided what size I'm going to make it. Because this was a spur of the moment thing. I just started making it and then I was like, oh, let's give this a go. Yeah, it could have ended up as like a cushion cover. Oh, there's my other glasses. Hang on, I need to swap so I can see what's going on. Oh, that's better. These are very slightly stronger, nearsighted glasses. So I'm going to do this the size of a single duvet. Now, I did not know that a single duvet and a single sheet are two completely different sizes. But it does make sense. So a single duvet, sorry, a single sheet is 90 inches. No. 90 centimetres by 190 centimetres. So just about that much shy of a yard by about that much extra on a yard. Sorry, that much shy of 2 yards. A duvet cover is wider. It's only the same amount again, longer, so it's 2 yards instead of just shy of 2 yards. But it's a yard and a half wide. It's 4 foot by 6 foot. So that's the size I'm going to go for because obviously it occurred to me that a sheet lies flat, right, on the mattress, but a duvet goes up and over you, so of course it would need to be wider. Duh. So I'm going to make it the size of a duvet. Hey, Susan. which is, for those in metric, 135 by 200 centimetres. In inches, that's 53 by 78. So if I add a 2-inch binding, no, a 1-inch binding, I've written that wrong, haven't I? It's going to be 1 inch either side. So a 1-inch binding around the edge will make it 55 by 80. So that's the size I'm aiming for. So when I've gone round enough times that I've ended up with, it's roughly sort of 135-ish, I will start edging. So instead of trying to add a bit here that is, where did that bit go? Put that bit in there, but I want to try and make it straighter. So instead of adding this whole piece, that bit would only be that big. Oh, here we go again with the bloody spam. Bugger off with your spam. Report them. Thank you, Mika. Damn, she was fast. She beat me to it today. Nice. She is all over it. The spammers are out in force at the moment. I tell you, it's crazy. So instead of using a piece that's already made, what I'll do with this is take a piece of paper and put it underneath and go, okay, I need to put a straight piece in there, across there. So I'll draw that triangle template, cut it out, cover it with some fabric and slot that triangle in. And then the next one I'll go, okay, this needs to be filled in. What I'd probably do with that is fold that bit under and fold that bit under and make like a little bit there. But you'll see me do that later on. That's for later when we actually get to the edges. I'm just giving you an overview of how I'm going to deal with this. So I think probably by the time I get to the width I need... Yeah, quick draw McGraw. She was fast. That was really fast. We love it. We love it. Maddie keeps whistling again. She started whistling the second I turned on the camera. She drives me crazy with her whistling. What next? What else was I going to say? Yeah, so you'll see all that. But what I wanted to do, a few people were asking me how I was going to embroider it and everything. Backtrack. One thing to clear up, because a few people were a bit confused. There is a American quilting pattern called Crazy Quilt. And it is literally a square that you have templates. It's exactly the same as what I'm doing, taking a piece of paper and cutting it into bits, but it's a pattern. So you can actually do squares of it and put it together like that. Hi, John. That is actually called an American Crazy Quilt pattern. The name of the pattern is Crazy Quilt. This is a Crazy Quilt, which is not quite the same. This is basically made from random bits. It's a Victorian thing that when they sized down or sized up or made stuff, they would, let me just find you a picture. They would cut the bits out like that and embroider it, and it was a whole thing that everybody did. You know, some people stitched, some people sewed, some people added bits to it. I've just closed that and I didn't want to. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm English crazy quilting, as opposed to making an American crazy quilt pattern. That's not to say that the Americans don't do crazy quilting like this. They do. It's just somebody named that a crazy quilt and it's made it very difficult. Anyway, for the backing, although obviously you would normally use wadding for a crazy quilt, etc., etc., I need this to be washable because dogs. Also clumsy. So I need to be able to wash it at least at low temperature. It's going to have some crushed velvet on, which means it's going to have to be on a cool wash. like a knitting wash. But that's okay, because if I spilt something on it, I would wash it straight away, so that's fine. Hey, Rish. But wadding, I don't find very washable. It's okay for doing it like once a year or whatever, but it's really not that hard wearing to be able to wash it twice a month or whatever. So instead, here's a little trick for you. And I don't need it to be super thick, but I want it to be warm. So instead of using wadding, what I'm going to do is buy, for a whopping $17.99, a black teddy fleece duvet cover, single size, which is the size that this will be. And instead of filling it with fleece, with wadding, I'm just going to use the duvet cover on the back. So I'll have 2 layers of duvet cover, this fleece duvet cover, and this, and I can quilt it onto that. Makes it incredibly washable, because this is washable at 60 degrees. And also, I think it comes with 1 pillowcase for a single, so I can make 2 cushions out of that at least. So that's the plan, Stan. The reason I'm using black is because, well, there's a lot going on here. You'd have to put this with a neutral colour, and I like black, so that's the plan, Stan. That's where we're heading, for those who like an overview. Now, today, and the beauty of this is, this project is perfect for somebody who can't stick with one project for too long because it gets monotonous. If I have to do a quilt by hand, I mean, I can't do a quilt by hand that's the same. It would drive me insane. I can do it by machine because it's fast. But if I have to sew it by hand, putting a million little blocks and squares together, even if it's a pattern, no, not going to happen, because it's repetitive and you have to do all the squares to put all the squares together, and then once you've put all the squares together, you have to do all the and it's one step at a time. You can only do one thing. You have to do one thing at a time. Now, you can make it as you go, but that gets really confusing then, and you know, you have to work out where your squares are going. With this, once you've got a decent size, in fact any size really, you could even do it with one of these and put 2 together and do it. Brentford's are selling those for £11 online. Yeah, Brentford's charge postage though. Amazon doesn't. Thank you though. Sorry, I got distracted. What was I saying? What was I saying? Remind me, my brain's all over the place. Yeah. Once you've got a few together, you can start doing the embroidery. So you've got cutting out templates, cutting out templates and fabric, basting fabric, sewing fabric into the quilt, embroidering bits. So you've got 5 different projects on the go. You could literally do an hour of each and spend a whole afternoon working on this. So what I thought I'd do, before I get carried away with it, is just show you my intentions for how I would embroider this. Again, the beauty of this, you can fold this in any way you like because of the paper piecing. I'm never going to use these templates again. But it works nicely. You don't need a hoop to embroider it because it's already flat. And the only issue is doing your knots and things at the back, but I don't do knots when I'm embroidering. I'm one of those people that just doesn't. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And I've got these 2 square triangles here happen to be, I've got a nice dark green to go on that one, and I've got a nice light blue to go on this one. So I've got light on dark and dark on light. I can work on both. So whichever one, I don't know which one's going to look best on camera or be easiest to see. So I'll just work on both of them. And what I'm going to be doing is flat embroidering. Now, you're probably used to embroidery that's done on a hoop. Especially if you're someone who does a lot of embroidery or picture embroidery, you normally do it on a hoop. You quite often have it raised up. You kind of have one hand behind and one hand in front, you know, and you work like that. That's not how you do this, because you can't embroider through the bits of paper, or you'd never get the bits of paper off. This is flat embroidery, which is a lot like tapestry. Tapestry is done on, instead of hessian, like cross stitch or whatever, it's done on canvas. And you don't really go up and down, you go kind of side to side with it. It's a bit like weaving, because you do it with much thicker fabric, the thicker yarns. So this flat embroidery is kind of a cross between the two, if that makes sense. So let me get some embroidery thread going, and if you've got any questions, now's the time to ask. Oh, I've put that bit of mauve over the top. This is all my scraps of thread that I just wind onto these. I spent the whole, or most of the weekend, getting these made. I have a tab punch. It's this shape. It's for putting on tabs on binders, Filofax tabs, sticky out tabs, things. I've got a tab punch, and I went, hang on a minute, that shape looks familiar. It's almost identical to this, it's just much bigger. So I cut it out of some sturdy card, and I've been winding all my embroidery threads onto the big ones, and it's awesome. It's so happy making, because I hate the way embroidery threads are spooled up. You can guarantee, it's like USB sticks. Embroidery threads and USB sticks, same thing. You got a 50-50 chance of getting the wrong end the first time, and somehow you manage to get the wrong end 3 times. Always happens. So, I'm going to start on the blue one. Now, one of the issues we're going to have is that we can't leave a knot, because we can't get to the back of the thread, right? Because we can't sew through the paper. And I'm using 3 strands of embroidery thread. I always, unless I'm doing a fine detail, I always use 3 strands of embroidery thread. Now you could, if you really have to have a knot, you could put a knot in your thread and come up through a corner here, like this, and just make sure that you miss the kind of up and around the paper, or right on the edge of the paper. But it's a lot easier to do it this way. So I'm just going to tie a knot in the bottom of my embroidery thread. I know, I never tie knots in embroidery thread. Anybody who's in my When Frogs Sing Patreon is all like, you tied a knot in some embroidery thread. What are you doing? All will become clear. Now the basting is still on this, but that's okay. I'm just going to avoid the basting. This will come out. All you got to do is snip this in the right places and it'll all come out. Do it on the back where you snip the knots and pull. That'll come out later. So I can ignore this as long as I don't sew right. I mean, I don't want to like buttonhole stitch all the way across that. That'll be a nightmare. But, you know, if a bit's in the way, I can just snip it and it'll still hold. But other than that, I can just ignore it. So, here's what we're going to do. Normally, when I start embroidering, I do a couple of anchor stitches and then I chop the back down as far as I can. Hey, Cody. Hey, Jane. But you can't do that on this, obviously. So instead, what I'm going to do is just start somewhere, leave a bit of a tail and come up like a quarter of an inch away from it. So that knot is going to be there. It's pretty, isn't it? Okay. I'll just do something simple for now. I'm just going to do... Actually, no. Let's start a bit further out. Hold that thought. Oh, by the way, my neck light, fantastic. Oh my God, best purchase ever. if you're an embroiderer or a sewer or whatever, and you like to sit of an evening and sew and you don't want to have massive bright lights on, you need to get yourself one of these. It's called a reading light. A neck reading light. Mine is rechargeable, adjustable. I can move it around. It's got 3 colours of light. So it's got amber for reading, blue light, and daylight simulation. So you can see actual colours. There's 6 levels of brightness. And it goes around your neck like that. So you can just put these lights exactly where you need them. You can angle them down if you don't want them in your face. You can have one or both of them on. See? That one's on a bit brighter than the other one. There we go. It's fabulous. See how that works? That's on the lowest setting. So you can see that's really bright. So if you've got no other lights on, it's literally like having somebody sit. Sorry, I'm charging it at the moment. That's why it's here. I don't need it with the studio light on. It's literally like having somebody sit here with a candle so you can see what you're doing. How they ever did this by candlelight, I don't know, because my eyes were killing me just doing it under a regular 60-watt bulb. Okay, let's start this again. So I'm going to come up in the corner here, about 1/4 inch. And for this one, I'm just going to do a running stitch. Again, it doesn't matter if I cross that thread there. I'm just going to hold that knot out of the way so it doesn't get tangled. There we go. Very simple. I'm not sewing through the paper, I'm just sewing through the material. I'm not even being particularly careful about how even my stitches are. I mean, the Victorians were, they were very, they basically treated these like samplers. So you would use them to practice your embroidery stitching. But you can fold it right up, you see, like that. Nice and small to work on. Let's come down this side. Obviously, if there wasn't paper in the back, I actually could do a whole running stitch all the way along, but you can't do that with the paper in the back. You have to do it a couple of stitches at a time, which is a little bit annoying, but when you're not just doing running stitch, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now I think I was going to go sort of in a spiral thing. Oh yeah, it's a dark piece. It could do with some brightening up. Did she say that out loud? Goodness me. So I'm just going round in a circle now. Now remember, all the bits on the back are basted, so they're not going to be in your way because they're on the other side of the paper. And if you want to, I mean, it depends how washable you want your quilt to be. If you know your fabrics and you know how to wash stuff, and or you're not going to get it particularly dirty, i.e. no kids, no pets, or it's not going to be the dogs aren't allowed on the furniture kind of house. Then you can probably get away with doing beading and stuff on it. I don't think I'll do beading on mine. I do like beading, but that's just asking Maddie to get something caught in it, isn't it? Okay, so we're coming up to the knot again. I'm going to come out the same hole I put the knot in. And then I'm going to do an anchor stitch. So I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to come up through the thread that's already in that hole. Like that. I can go back over that and down into this one, and then I can drop across. And now what I can do is pull that very slightly. You don't want to pull it too hard because you'll undo your stitching. But you can pull that very slightly and get your snippers and snip it at the knot. Ta-da! But that's anchored now, that won't come undone. If you're worried about it coming undone, you can just drop a little bit of Aleene's tacky glue, like just literally get a pin and pop a little bit of glue, fabric glue, down into that hole there, and it'll hold that thread in perfectly fine. Okay, so now I'm going to come down over this stitch here, and then I'm going to come in. But I'm going to come back up halfway. So I've moved down and across. So now what I can do is have these stitches not running parallel. Or running parallel but not running even. Hey Katie. See? So it looks a little bit more... I don't like it to look too prissy. If it's going to look prissy. If it's going to be even, it's going to have to be very, very even. Like, if I was doing this so that all of these stitches were exactly the same and they met and they matched each, I would be sitting here with a white pen doing this, and a ruler, getting the dots. I can't be bothered with that. It's all or nothing with me, so nothing it is. Because the whole point of this is that I just want to be able to sit and do something while I'm sat on the sofa of an evening that's not drawing, because I draw constantly and I just want to do something different for a while. So now these stitches don't entirely line up with each other. They're slightly offset, so they don't look like they're supposed to be even. Therefore, they don't have to be even in any way. Make sense? Marvellous. Hi, baby. I see you. I'm even varying, like, not consciously, but large and small stitches. But you can see once it's done, it's going to look really effective. And this can be everywhere, like not this stitch particularly. I can do lots of different stitches all over it, but yes, I'm licking my thread. It's my quilt. I wouldn't do that if I was making something for somebody else, unless I intended to wash it, which I normally do because of the dogs. But yeah, it's my quilt, so I lick my threads. I don't care. Come on. That's got a fluffy bit on it. Don't you just hate it when you cut your thread and there's like one long hair? I think these need sharpening actually. I don't think they're cutting very well. Probably should use a needle with a bigger eye, but I use the same size needle for everything, to be honest. Basic number 9. Okay, that's just about enough to go across here. Okay, now this bit, to tie it off, there's lots of ways you could tie it off. You could just go over that stitch a couple of times, which is what I would normally do. But I'll show you how to finish it as if you were starting it. That makes sense? And then I'll do the opposite on the other one. So I'm finished my last stitch. I'm going to bring it up in the corner here. And then I'm going to go back down the same hole, because all I'm doing here is avoiding the paper. So I'm just taking it along under the fabric and down. Bring it down to the back. Three anchor stitches and you're done. There we go. It's cool, isn't it? It looks really fun. Let's see, what other colour have we got? We've got that yellow. I've got a nice yellow that'll go with that. Let's pull that out. Here it is. It's only a little bit. So let's do a little feature in the middle here. See how much thread I've got. These are just offcuts of thread that from another project. Anytime I've got offcuts, I always just put them on these and then I just use them up on something like this. Okay, so this time I'll show you how to bring it across from underneath, which is basically the reverse of what I just did. Okay. Come on. I need to get my embroidery scissors out. Those snippers are great for ordinary thread, but they don't work for embroidery thread. Let's try the other end. Oh, this end's clean cut. That should be all right. There we go. Okay, so this time what I'm going to do is start it on the back, anchor it across. Now remember, this is going to be held flat until we take all these paper piecings out. Once we take the paper piecings out, you will have draw threads across. But once you're at the point where you're taking the paper piecings out, this is already a completed piece with its ready to have its binding on the edges. So it's literally ready to just turn it over onto whatever it is you're going to sew it to. So I'm not worried about having extra threads because you won't see them. They're not going to be a problem because they're going to be... And once you've quilted it in, it won't matter. If you would prefer to do this bit first and then the embroidery later, you can do that and then take all the stitching out and then you'd have this and then you could embroider it properly if you want to do like... Properly. I mean, like if you wanted to do like little pictures or vignettes or something on it for whatever reason, then you could put it on a hoop then and do it that way. But this works for me. I'm not really into doing lots of pictures or anything. Simple patterns, flowers, that kind of stuff, that'll do me. So anyway, this time I'm going to start on the back and I'm going to start on a corner that's nearest to the centre because I'm going to do a centre motif. So I think I'll start here. So I'm going to anchor it into this corner again. So this is what I do when I'm sewing the blocks as well. I don't do knots. So anchor it across that tail. Oops. Don't pull it too hard or that happens. I don't think I had hold of it properly. Okay, hold that down. And sew across it. There we go. And then do it again. So you've literally sewn up and across that thing. Now you can take it up through the corner avoiding the paper. Okay. And then I'm going to go back down through where I just came up. There it is. Oops. Actually, that's a bit tight in there. I think what I'll do is bring it along this edge. Because it's a corner, it's got a bit of craziness going on. There we go. You can bring it up anywhere as long as you go back down the same hole. And it won't make any difference. So, if I take it back down there now. Can't see. Okay. Bring it up in the middle. See? Now it's going from there to there. I can feel it, it's there. So it's going from there to there instead of there to there. Because it's just literally slid in underneath. So, what should we do in the middle? Let's just do a basic kind of chain stitch type flower. Sorry about the spinning around, that's going to happen because I have to get the angle. Incidentally, for those who are like, oh, embroidery looks really complicated, all embroidery is only done with about 120 different stitches. I mean, and a lot of those 120 stitches are actually patterns of the same 40 or so bits. There's so many different things you can do with just a few stitches. And again, I'm not going through the paper, I'm just going... It looks like a little starfish, look. Oh, cute. Wasn't what I was intending, but it's good. That'll do. It's just an example. The fun thing about these quilts is they never really finish. Because you could go, oh yeah, that bit's done now. I'll leave that. And then come back later and go, you know what, this would look really cute if I just put a couple of little star things there in a different colour. Even when your quilt's technically finished, it still looks really fun. Okay, now this one, you would normally go back down into the centre, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to anchor this one by coming back up and doing a double stitch. And go back down, and then I'm going to scoot across to the edge, come out the seam, hold the thread so you can see the hole, go back down through the hole, miss the paper. So you can't see anything there now. And then you can just tie it off there. Isn't that cute? This, and I could be like, oh, I'm bored with embroidery now, I want to do something else. I'll just put some templates together. I'll just add some templates to another corner. That's not really long enough to do anything with, so that actually will go in the bin. See, I do throw things away eventually. My scraps of thread have to be about 6 to 8 inches long before I will actually get rid of them. Okay, so let's do the green one, shall we? And then we can put the two together. So this one, I actually want to do something along this edge. that crisscrosses. I'm going to do a herringbone across this line in this blue because I think it'll look nice. This blue looks amazing with this red and green, red and yellow. So I'm going to pick up the blue along that line. So I don't want to do anything on this one that involves that edge. So what shall I do? It's a plain one again, so it would actually be useful. It would actually be good to do like a pattern of some sort. The plain fabrics are a lot better. Where's my green that I kept? Oh, there it is. So I've got this dark green. I'm going to use that because there's lots of it. Oh, I think I know what I'm going to do. I might not have enough thread to do this, but I do have some more of this colour, so I'm not bothered. This is just an offcut. Okay. How many bits of thread do I have here? Oh, this is a 4-strand thread. That's weird. I don't normally have 4 strands of thread. But okay. That's fine. It's a nice long piece, this one. So this time I'll do a knot for those of you who need to have knots. But I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to come up in the corner because I'm actually going to start here anyway, so I might as well just come up in the corner. So here we go. That's the corner I want to come up in. So I'm going to put my knot here. Shh, shh, shh. Hi, Maddie. Like that. See? So you can have knots if you want them. I'm going to come up through the corner there. Coming up through the fabric, not through the stitching. You don't want to put extra stress on the stitching. Always make sure you're coming up through the fabric. And then I'm here in the corner. Oh, I've come up in the wrong corner. No, I haven't. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to do like a leaf pattern. And come up on the wrong side. That's right. That should be that side. It's tricky to work in the corners. Because you've got so many pieces of fabric in there. Again, not being super careful about it. It's not necessary. This is supposed to be fun. If I was doing it for somebody else, I'd be like, it'd take me centuries because I would be super pedantic about it, but it's for me and I like things that don't quite match because that's more interesting for me. If I wanted it to look like it'd come off a production line, I'd probably just buy one. My leaves are getting a bit wonky. Concentrate. There we go. Wrong side. See how it gets easier to do as you get to the middle? Because there's more give in the fabric in the middle. Hi, Scoob. You ringing your bell? Do you want some food? Sorry, am I going off camera again? Okay, now I'm going to start bending down towards this corner. And to match that side, I'm going to start getting a little bit smaller as I go into that corner as well. Oops. Sewing over the basting stitches because they'll come out later anyway. Hi Maddie, what you doing? Did I go right into the corner? Yeah, I did. Oops. And then this one, I'm going to go down where I want it to go, come back up in the corner, go back down into the corner to avoid the paper, through the fabric, not through the stitches. Oops, sorry. Knock you out of the way there, sorry about that. Come across here, tie a knot. However you do your knotting off. Isn't it nice? I love this. It's a great way of practicing your embroidery. I like that, it looks really cute. I might put some little French knots to put coloured dots on a few of these, I don't know. Okay, is that blue going to be bright enough for that? It's a bit too dark. Okay, where can I use this green? I mean, I could do some more on that one, but it'd be more interesting to go in with another colour. Oh, I know. That's going to have herringbone along that edge. Need to visualise. Herringbone, that. It's going to leave a gap there. Let's do a little motif here. So right in the centre of this bit. So I cut my nails and now I can't do anything. My nails were too long and I couldn't do anything, so I cut them off and now I can't do anything because I'm used to having long nails. You can't win, can you? Okay. there. There we go. Okay, now here's another option you can do. For you doodlers. I don't know if I've got enough thread to do all of this, but let's go around that way. Okay, that's annoying me. That's a clunking noise. Go away. Maddie! You'd branch off to get the same thing in the other corner. Yeah, I could do that, but I know that there's going to be something here already, so I don't want to make this too cluttered. She says. I mean, it's a crazy quilt. You can literally do anything you want. The great thing is, let's say I do this and I'm like, oh, I really wish I'd done that instead, you know, like Katie suggested. You can just go and find another corner, another triangle, a little bit away, and do the same pattern again, but do it differently. I could go over here and go, oh, I'll do Katie's pattern over here. What time are we on? I've got to watch the time today because I've got somebody calling me later. Also, if you can't embroider, you can cross stitch on this, you know. You have to guesstimate where your squares are or draw little dots. I mean, it's easier on checker patterns like this, but you could literally just draw little dots like that if you really wanted to, or get one of those pinwheel things that you can just make marks, make the holes yourself. Okay, Maddie, stop whining, please. No. Stop, please. Good girl. Oops. Okay. Let's fit another one in there, actually, I think. Let's fit one in there, like that. Sorry, I know it's hard to see what I'm doing, but, you know, that's the nature of the beast, I'm afraid. So I'm going to double stitch the stem because it's a little bit thicker. And I'll drop over to the edge here. Drop back down through my hole. Whoops. Don't do that. Don't sew the two sides of your fabric together. That would be bad. There lies unpicking and pain. Oops. Maddie, what are you doing? The daily dig has started. That's what the chaos in the background is. Ugh. Yeah, these are not very good for embroidery thread. Cute, right? Love it. Okay, what else have I got here? I've got time to do one more. Let's do... Let's do something on this side because this is slightly different seaming. So you can see this is a lot crazier than this little bit because originally this bit was a rectangle here. I need to break this up. So it's a little bit trickier. But this side, I've literally got crazy piecing going on. So how about if we do... That's a nice long set of stitches down there, isn't it? Or we've got this one. I mean, we'd have to cut that corner, but that's okay. Oh, there's... No, because we're going to cut that off. Okay. Sorry. Brain. Let's grab another colour. It's a great way of using up your scraps, this. Literally using up your scraps. That nice dark blue. Okay, I've got loads of this because this is actually a full thickness. I'll take a sewing length. Oh, there's a sewing length. Okay, I've got even more than I thought. So let's split it in two. Three and three, yeah. Sorry, I'm hitting the camera again. I can't. I'm completely not watching chat. Sorry, guys. Oh, another spammer. It's like whack-a-mole these days, isn't it? They've really amped up the last few weeks. It's crazy. But, hey, it keeps you lot busy, right? So I'll probably use this in a minute, so I'm just going to loop it. I'm not going to bother putting it back on the card. Okay, here we go. Oh, you don't want to play, huh? Okay. Well, I win. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start here and go along this line. I'm going to cut across those two corners there and go along that line there, up to there. Is that what I'm going to do? Or shall I do this one? Oh, this one. This one might be better, actually, because that's a bit dark. I don't think... Yeah, the blue might not stand out on that, but it will stand out on all of these. Maddie! Oof. The barking. A Twitter thing. Twitter's terrible these days. I don't even use Twitter anymore. I go in occasionally to check on some stuff, but that's about it. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and across here, probably to that corner, but I might come up and round this corner. So I'm going to start here. You need to stop the silly barking, madam. Okay, coming up in that corner. All right, so let me think which way I need to go. I need to go that way. Yes, that way. And then this time I'm going to come down across. This is a little trickier. Down across here. I'm going to have to come closer to the stitching. Okay. Come on, brain. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I haven't done some of these stitches in a long time and it shows. Okay, this isn't doing what I wanted it to do, so I think I'm going to have to start that again. I need to figure out where I'm going with it. I've got me ins and outs backwards. You gotta sew back on yourself. That's what I didn't do. I can't remember how to do it. My brain's gone completely blank. Up. Oh, I was right. That's what I was doing, yeah. Okay. Cross. And up. Ah, it's easier to do it this way. There we go. Across and up. Got it. Oop. Again, I'm not being precious about it and trying to make every single stitch the same size or anything like that. I'm just... Done is better than perfect, right? That's the motto of this channel. Done is better than perfect. So you can see how quick this embroidery is. Especially if you're just doing sample stitches like I am. I mean, once I've got my basic stitches back again and I don't have to sit there and work out which way to do it, I'll probably just go in and do all sorts of stuff. But for now, doing this over seams and stuff reinforces the doing this over the seams reinforces the seams, she says. So like if I put it through 2 of those, that holds those 2 pieces together, or 3 pieces together, even better than the hand stitching that's there. Same with these 2. It's tricky to sew through a seam like that, but also it helps integrate everything, so you don't really see as much of the seams, if that makes sense, because you're kind of camouflaging them. Gonna have to get my thimble out as well, because I've lost my pushing nail because I cut my nails off. Needle's getting a bit blunt. I think I'll have to retire this one to paper piecing and get a new one out for embroidery. Okay. It looks a lot more complicated than it is, yeah. But it's really pretty. You could do the whole quilt with this and it would look really nice. The one thing I've found is that it's really good idea to just come along and pull your stitches, because this herringbone stitch, it doesn't really like the flat stitching. See how loose those are going? So I just come in and pull them up. That's okay, that's all right there. the thing you have to remember about all embroidery stitches, all of them, they are basically either in and out of the fabric or around the needle. That's it. That's the only two moves you make in embroidery. How you go in and out of the fabric varies greatly, but now I'm already on the edge here, so I'm just going to go straight down through that hole and just avoid the piece of paper underneath. Whoops! Did it again, sorry. Okay. You see, there's an example of where I fitted that piece in and I folded this bit over because it wasn't gonna work. So I may cut that bit off later in case it goes thick. So instead I'll anchor off to this piece because I won't cut this piece off. That bit's got a piece of paper in it, you see, so I really need to cut it and then take the paper out. There you go. And it looks completely different on the dark, on the black, the blue on the black, than on the lighter colours. But it's very effective. Where else should we put this? Oh, let's do that bit. Oh, no, I was going to do light blue there. So if I do dark blue here, that'll look really good, actually. Let's use this other bit of blue up. Now I already know I want to do that herringbone stitch along there in the light blue. So on this corner, let's do something else. Oh, I've come up the wrong corner. Oh well, never mind. Let's do a couple of these flowers on this fabric. Change of plan. So I'll go back up through there, across to here. Got a little blue flower on this fabric. Similar to the little yellow one I did over there earlier. Whoops. So I'm going to do the same stitch again over the pattern in the fabric. Let's go that way. Whoops. No, that one. You could even do, if you know how to do the buttonhole stitching around sequins, like on the Indian fabrics, you could even do that on these. I have got some really big sequins. I might have to put a couple on, just for the sake of it. Yeah, that's cute. Let's do a knot in the middle of that. I did that the wrong way around. Wind first. Okay. Oh, I was off camera. You didn't tell me my camera was off. Okay, this one I can satin stitch. Or similar. Oh, I didn't do that one quite long enough. Never mind. Oh, they're not all the same length. Ah. Okay, wasn't me. I followed the pattern. The pattern was different. Because I only did one stitch to the end of the flower, it's actually coming out, whoops, it's actually coming out more like a star than a flower, a petal. So I might go and do that on the other side in that gold. Yeah, actually looks like a star. Cool. Hi, Maddie. Let's go down and do this one. So we got 3 on this one piece. I think that's cute. Maddie. Shh, 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 shh. Why are we crying? But why are we crying though? Maddie! Shh! Come on, stop. No, stop. No, the door's open. You can go out if you want to. I'm sorry, am I boring you? Belly rubs for Maddie. There. Nope. That wasn't what I meant to do at all. Variation 4 billion on this. If you want to do your embroidery by machine, you can do that too. Although, if you're paper piecing, you need to take the paper piecing out first, obviously. Why am I getting so mixed up with this one? There we go. Maddie. Sorry, spinny fabric. I know. I should have stuck to doing lines. Okay. So we got flowers and stars, vines and leaves, dashes and star-shaped type things. This needs some more of those stars. We need another one there and another one there. I'm going to have to do that. I've got some more of that yellow. I can do that. So I'll do another one there about the same size and another one over there a little bit smaller. I think that'll look better. And then we've got the blue. It stresses you out because you would have to make every single line and stitch and everything exactly right. I don't feel any need to do that whatsoever. I don't care. This looks just as good to me as if it was perfect. It's a shame, really, because you could doodle. You doodle stuff. You know, you could doodle on things like... I mean, this one would look really cool if it had like a spiral on it, like that. Go in and sew the spiral. One over here. This one could have a design on it. You could do maybe couple of wavy lines in different colours like that. Don't make them too pristine, just draw them on, sew over them. So now I've got 6 projects because I can sit and doodle on this as well and then embroider it. So I've got paper piecing and fabric cutting, or template cutting and fabric cutting, which I tend to do all together because it's easier. Basting, quilting, well, patching, let's call it patching because this isn't the quilting yet. Patching, embroidering and doodling, or doodling and embroidering. So I can literally just sit here with a pen and just do a doodle and then embroider it. How cool is that? I've got my own quilted sketchbook to play with. This would be really cool if you're good at doing like outline drawings, like the typical black outline drawings. I'm not excellent at doing those. I'm better with colour. But outline drawings of like skulls and eyes and bones and witchy symbols. It's going to have some witchy symbols here somewhere. Yeah, it's going to look cool. I mean, it already looks cool as far as I'm concerned, but it's going to look really cool when it's finished. I'm going to have to stop there, guys, because I've got somebody calling me back in about 10 minutes. So I need to go and sort Maddie out with whatever she's moaning about. And wait for my phone call. So I will see you again next week. I'm going to be continuing this for a while, but I don't know if I'd be doing it on live streams. I mean, I probably will do some. But it really depends what takes my fancy. If I'm still hyper-focused on this next week, then this will be it. If I'm not hyper-focused on this, I might be drawing next week, or I might be planning, or I might be journaling, or I might be doing anything. I could have taken up another hobby by then. That's how we roll here. That just looks like it needs a... That looks like it needs an octopus on it. It just does. The thing about this is that you need to just chill. If you want to have some super duper amazing, beautiful, perfect project, go and find someone who does proper, measured, pattern-based quilting and do that. Okay? Look up log cabin, because if you're a perfectionist, log cabin will both drive you crazy and give you immense satisfaction. But if you're like me and you just like to play, this is a fantastic project to do. I'm really enjoying it. So thanks, guys. I will see you again next time. And if you're over on my Patreon, I will see you tomorrow for our astrology class. Boom. Bye, guys.